Hello and thank you for joining us on CoreTV News Hour. I am Frank Omalape and here are some of the reports we're filing now. News just coming in indicates that a female suicide bomber has attacked a motor park in Damaturu, the Yobe state capital. The bomber, according to eyewitnesses, disguised as a passenger, boarded a bus with passengers in it and blew herself up, reportedly killing 8 other passengers. Police and other security agencies are said to have condoned off the Mayantasha area of the city of Damaturu where the explosion occurred. The police have confirmed the incident. We'll bring you details in our subsequent bulletins. While the police in Kano State have confirmed the killing of 2 gunmen suspected to be Boko Haram members in Kibia local government area of the state, the command's public relations officer ASP Magia confirmed the incident in an interview with newsmen in Kano. He said the incident occurred late Saturday afternoon at about 5:30 p.m. when gunmen, numbering about 6, stormed the police station on 2 motorcycles, but the police repelled the attack. He added that one of the gunmen was killed during the exchange of fire, while the other was lynched by the community while trying to escape. Going further, he said 2 of the gunmen were also arrested and are now assisting the police in their investigation. Magia said the gunmen also abandoned one of their motorcycles before fleeing to the area, adding that the police did not sustain any injury or death during the encounter. He however added that the security has since been beefed up in the area, adding that neighboring states have been alerted in order to arrest the fleeing hoodlums. The Nigerian military has in fierce battle repelled an attacks by Boko Haram insurgents on its military base in Gombe after the terrorists in a renewed offensive attack to capture the Gombe state capital. Report says the insurgents launched an early morning attack on Hina and Dadinkowal in Yamantun Deva local government area of the state, but were repelled by the military. They subsequently attacked the nearby Zambuk, but were again repelled. Latest report from Gombe indicated that troops had successfully repelled the invaders from the town. A soldier said the insurgents gained entry into the barracks through a bush path around 5:30 a.m. They were said to have set ablaze the quarter guard before the federal troops overpowered them with the attendant casualties on the side of the rebels. In a related development, the Gombe state government has declared a 24-hour curfew on the state capital and surrounding areas after a failed attempt by the deadly Boko Haram search to capture Gombe metropolis. The military engaged the sect in a fierce battle that lasted over 3 hours before the capital could be secured. The imposition of the curfew was contained in a statement issued by the Secretary to the state government, Abubakar Sulebaji. A former President Olusegun Obasanjo has accused President Jonathan of nursing a sit-tight agenda in the postponement of the 2015 general election. Obasanjo, who made his action while addressing journalists in Abeokuta, the Ogun state capital, also compared President Jonathan's agenda to former Ivorian leader Laurent Gbagbo, currently on trial for war crimes, saying the president has a plan to scuttle the electoral process and cause chaos in the country as was done by the former Ivorian leader.
What again will look to me is that the president is trying to play Gbagbo. Gbagbo was the former president of Cote d'Ivoire. And Gbagbo made sure he postponed the election in his country until he was sure he will win. All reasonable persuasion and pleading was rebuffed by him, and he unleashed horror in that country until Nemesis caught up with him. I believe that we may be seeing a repeat of Gbagbo, or what I call Gbagbo saga, here in Nigeria. I hope not.
He also described the postponement as a decision forced on the INEC chairman, saying it was a sad day for the Nigerian democracy.
It was a forced decision on the INEC because it was alleged that the security chiefs were unable to provide security. And as a result, the chairman of INEC had to postpone in accordance with the dictate of the so-called security chiefs.
Now, following former President Olusegun Obasanjo's verbal attack on President Goodluck Jonathan, alleging the latest sit-tight posture, the presidency, in a swift reaction, expressed disappointment over the allegation. The statement said Obasanjo's unwarranted attack on President Jonathan is odious and repugnant in self-serving. The statement further reads, and I quote, "We find the false claims and allegations reportedly made against President Goodluck Jonathan by Chief Olusegun Obasanjo on Saturday in Abeokuta very odious and repugnant. As we have had cause to say before, it is most regrettable indeed that a man like Obasanjo, who should know better, chooses to repeatedly, wantonly, and maliciously impugn the integrity of a sitting president of his country for the primary purpose of self-promotion." End of quote. In conclusion, the statement reads, Chief Obasanjo's plot with others within and outside the country to thwart the general elections and force an unconstitutional interim national government, which he hopes to hold, is well known to us. But by the grace of God Almighty, his audacious plan to return to power through the back door will fail woefully. End of quote. Away from that now, the Independent National Electoral Commission has challenged the Director of Media and Publicity of the People's Democratic Party Presidential Campaign Organization, Femi Fani-Kaode, to prove his allegation that the Commission is intentionally preventing would-be voters from claiming their permanent voter cards. Fani-Kaode had at a press conference in Abuja on Wednesday alleged that the PVCs are still in China, where they were produced and have yet to be imported to Nigeria. But the Chief Press Secretary to Jega Kaude says that the onus lies on Fani-Kaode to validate his claims. He says the Commission has extended the collection deadline and that Nigerians should make use of the opportunity to pick up their PVCs, adding that the Commission cannot drag people out of their homes to pick up the PVCs. He also says anyone who does not pick up his or her PVC is one responsible for disenfranchisement, not INEC. Former military President Ibrahim Babangida has expressed optimism that the rescheduled general elections will take place despite doubts expressed by Nigerians. He also called for a collection solution to the insurgency, saying it should not be seen as Northeast problem but a problem of all Nigerians. IBB spoke to reporters at his uphill residence in Minna after playing host to Arewa Citizen Action for Change, a non-political organization embarking on train-the-trainer program on enhanced peaceful coexistence in the North region. Asked whether he has doubt on the possibility of the elections due holding following the last-minute postponement by the Independent National Electoral Commission, Babangida said, "I have every confidence that there will be election." IBB, who was reluctant to answer questions, was initially not forthcoming when asked if rescheduling of the election will not affect its outcome. On the insurgency challenge, he cautioned against reducing it to a Northeast affair, adding that it's a Nigerian affair. The former military leader also told his guests to help educate people on collection of permanent voter cards. You're watching CoreTV News Hour. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with more stories after this time out. Stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories use them to make the right decisions.
For more information on our news and other programs, like our Facebook page is facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can as well follow us at CoreTV News NG. For live streaming, log on to youtube.com/CoreTV TV Space the News. Inspector General Police Sulaiman Abba has assured members of the public that the police are not under any instruction to shoot or kill during the forthcoming general elections. He also advised officers and men of the police force not to use arms during the elections unless in extreme circumstances. Abba said this against the backdrop of claims that senior police officers are under instructions to kill as many as possible if any of their men was killed. Police spokesman Emmanuel Ojukwu said in a statement that the IGP issued a warning at a meeting with a cross-section of the top police officers. IGP Abba was quoted to have told his men that their operations during the elections are expected to be guided by the rule of law. As Nigerians continue to grapple with the reality of postponement of the general elections, Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola says the election is beyond religious, ethnic or political party affiliation, but an opportunity to rescue the nation from the hands of corrupt leaders. Fashola made a statement at the Government House in Marina, where he met with the leadership of the National Association Nigerian students from the southwestern region of the country. A correspondent, Abiola Aluwale's report is presented from our studios.
General elections, as announced by the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, Atahiru Jega, have kept politicians on their toes, strategizing and networking with relevant groups across the country as they canvass for support for their political parties. Governor Fashola's meeting with the leadership of the National Association of Nigerian Students from the southwestern region served as a platform to canvass votes for the All Progressive Congress presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari at common pools. Fashola, who painted a picture of what he calls the failure of the federal government to tackle numerous challenges facing the nation, encouraged the students' union leadership to vote for change.
Let me say to you what this is not about. This is not about tribe. It's not. Anybody who tells you that is deceiving you. It's also not about religion. And it's also not about North and South, or East and West, or Christians and Muslims. It's about Nigeria. Understand that very clearly. It's about liberties and it's about choices.
In their reactions, some student union leaders who spoke at the event say the postponement of the elections will serve as an opportunity for them to sensitize Nigerians on the need to vote APC in the coming elections.
That General Buhari is far better than the president. And I know that the APC is a party of leaders that said something today and they stand by it. They don't just promise and promise and promise.
They can change the date, they can postpone the election, but the change must come. The power of the people at the top obviously is overpowering the power of we here. But we are standing here to say that come March, that the power of the people will be more than the people in power.
As political gladiators strategize to gain upper hands over their opponents, all what Nigerians are seeking, according to political analysts, is good governance.
Displeased by the soaring increase of political violence in the state, the Kwara State Police Command has announced its readiness to curtail the perpetrators of violence. Speaking with political stakeholders at a peace pact meeting in Ilorin, the police chiefs assures politicians of non-partisanship but asks the players to play according to the rule of the game. Our correspondent Rashid has details.
The recent attack on the convoy of the Kwara State Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed has brought a new twist to political violence in the hitherto peaceful state. And in a bid in stemming this trend, the Kwara Police Chief Salihu Garba brings all political players in signing a peace agreement ahead of the 2015 general elections.
Reveals a great increase in the rate of political torture and hooliganism in the ongoing electioneering period in the state, resulting into various forms of attacks from political opponents. The State Police Command hereby registers its position on zero tolerance to all forms of political torture and hooliganism in any form, and categorically directs that such acts of criminalities shall not be tolerated in the state before, during, and after the electionary period.
The buck now passed to political parties and politicians who one after the other promised to be of peaceful behavior before, during, and after the election.
All of our team and our supporters that everybody should maintain peace, no matter the provocation. They should maintain peace during and after the election. And I promise that inshallah, APC in Kwara State will maintain peace.
On behalf of PDP in the state, we preach peace, we want peace, we want all our followers, well-wishers who believe in the freedom of the state to continue to maintain peace, and all our candidates, they will maintain peace throughout the election and after the election.
Having signed the peace deal, the Kwara Police Commissioner admonished all to abide by the agreement or face wrath of the law.
All political gladiators, including candidates seeking political office in the state, who are here present today, are expected to declare before the press and the people of Kwara State their zero tolerance to any form of torture and hooliganism, and that they will bring this to bear on their followers across the state.
However, in weeks to come, this peace pact will be put to the litmus test by the activities of political parties. But till then, Nigerians are keenly awaiting the observance or otherwise of the peace agreement. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ilorin.
The Edo State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Mike Igini, has once again engaged representatives of the various political parties ahead of the 2015 general elections as he gives update of the Commission's activities in the state. Igini, while speaking at the section, he disclosed the total number of registered voters in the state as 1.7 million, with less than 1.2 million picked up so far. A correspondent report from Edo State is presented from our studios.
In an attempt to make the activities of INEC transparent in the state, the Edo State Electoral Commissioner, Mike Igini, has chosen to update political parties on the operations of the Commission following the 6-week postponement of the elections and the ongoing distribution of permanent voter cards, PVCs, in the state.
On the 13th of January, we in Edo State EDG, or those who live in Edo State, we have distributed, as at 2 days ago, a total of 1,087,203. 1,087,203. What is left for distribution apart from the CVR is 449,431.
He further maintained that the Commission would need about 15,571 persons as staff to help conduct the election in the state, as against its 300 staff members currently on ground.
Total staff strength nationwide is about 13,000. But for this election, we are going to engage well over 900,000 people. Out of 13,000 plus that we have in INEC, those who will be engaged in electoral activities are very few. In Edo State, we are just about 339 staff. In election management, it's not everybody, even the 339 that will participate.
The Edo Rec assured the provision of adequate security and also transportation of electoral materials, as it has entered into an MOU with Road Transport Employees Association to help convey both sensitive materials on the day of elections.
We need a total of 15,571 to conduct election. 15,571. What INEC has been doing, and I think that should be understood clearly, that whatever that is the outcome of election is to be seen as a reflection of who we are and what we want for our country.
Meanwhile, representatives of the various political parties in attendance in their separate remarks after the session bear their minds.
Transparency, free and fair elections, and letting the electorate to decide which leadership will be. And you will notice that when he spoke just now, he berated the state electoral commissions for their lack of democratic ideals. And this is a position Edo PDP have been canvassing in the last couple of years. And would like all Edo people, and of course, would like the governor to take a cue from the position of INEC when it comes to providing free and fair elections.
One thing we believe is that if the public are well informed, there will not be a crisis, there will not be a problem. It has been an issue of lack of information that has been the challenge that we have had. But I think for what has happened today in Edo, we are being informed. And we will go back to inform our people also on what to do.
The 80-year-old father of Joshua Darie, the former governor of Plateau State, who was kidnapped on Saturday, February 7th at his home in Mushere, Boko's local government of Plateau State, was found in Kampan local government in the state this morning. His kidnappers released him after a lot of pressure from SS operatives who have been on their trail from Plateau to Nasarawa State and back. 4 persons have, however, been arrested in connection with his kidnap. The infant Darie has since been handed over to his son, Joshua Darie. According to police sources, no ransom was paid, though his abductors has demanded $10 million ransom. You're still watching CoreTV News Hour. We'll take another break. We'll be back with more stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical, women being so powerful yet have few grounds in decision making.
I see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
Outside Nigeria, dozens of anti-coup activists held a demonstration in central Bangkok, handing out roses and copies of George Orwell's 1984 in a rare expression of public dissent in a nation still under strict martial law. The demonstrators, a collection of pro-democracy groups including students, made no secret of their Valentine's Day protest plans, advertising them on Facebook. In response, the authorities put up a series of barriers to stop demonstrators accessing a plaza opposite a mall in the city's downtown Xi'an shopping district. Several of the most vocal protesters were seen being led by police. The junta says it will hold fresh elections in early 2016 once reforms to tackle corruption and curb the power of political parties are codified in a new constitution. Some analysts and Shinawatra supporters fear those constitutional changes are designed to ensure the family is politically neutralized in any upcoming election. And it's a wrap now on CoreTV News Hour. Thank you for watching. I am Frank Omalape. We're back at top of the hour for more. Have it. Bye.